Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talk Time with Erin and Lacy. Hi, I'm Erin Kosher. I am the founder and owner of the LightWarrior Development School, and of course, my cohort in Good Times is my dear friend and colleague, Lacy Hart, the founder of Spiritual Grace. Hey, Lacy, how are you?
Hi, Erin. Good. I'm so excited for our chat today. We have a good one in for everyone. Something that I would assume all of us are going through, right?
Everybody. Today we are talking about spiritual boundaries. All right. Yep. Spiritual boundaries. Boy, guys, there's a lot to tell you. Before we start this, though, I want to let you know, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like, leave comments. Why? Listen, it's not about our egos. This is how the social media platforms decide if they're going to let a lot of people see your content or not. And we are doing this to spread light, to spread knowledge. This is our way of serving outside of our clients in our programs. Yes. And by you hitting the subscribe, the like, doing some comments, sharing our content, the social media platforms go, oh, okay, so people like this. We should show it to more. So when you do that, you are actually doing light work. So we thank you in advance for that. All right, spiritual boundaries. We're going to talk about there's more than one type. We're going to start with, though, the unseen, your unseen helpers, whether it's guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, soul family, or if you have mediumship abilities. Yeah. Setting boundaries. Now, here's the thing that I know one time I had no clue, and man, was it the most liberating thing for me. And I do find the majority of my clients over the years have never heard of is you have the right, hear the word, you have the right to set boundaries. What does that mean? So I'll tell you a little story. When my youngest daughter was a baby and I was getting up in the middle of the night to go get her a bottle. And I woke up and I'm like, this guy, trust me, I'm not like, oh, wide awake, woohoo. It's like dark and who knows, it's dark o'clock and I should still be snoring or making sleep sounds because of course ladies don't snore. And I get up and I'm going to my bedroom door and I'm bumping into all of these people. And I'm like, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, excuse me. And I make my way out from the room, down the hall, I make my way down to the kitchen. And I'm starting to get the bottle out to go warm it up when all of a sudden both eyes are now wide open. And I was like, who are all those people in my bedroom? Like, I didn't even register until that moment. Like, who was I saying excuse me to? Like, who are these people? What the hey? Hi. And I realized, because I have been a psychic medium since I was little, I don't even know who all these people were. Okay. They definitely, though, were not just like my crew. And from that moment, I set a boundary. And my boundary stays to this day. Doesn't matter where I live, what I'm doing. The boundary I have set is once I step into my bedroom, I'm off the clock. Unless it is one of my guides, guardians, or angels that must give me a message. Like they got to do it right then and there. That's fine. Otherwise, I'm off the clock and I have instructed them not to allow any spirit to cross that line. Once I enter my bedroom, I am off the clock. And I've kept that boundary. Now, I have taught that boundary to my children differently because they do not do this professionally. But I have taught them that their bedroom can be off limits to let their guides, guardians, and angels know that once I step into my room, it's off limits. If there's any ghosties or spirits or whatever that want to have a conversation, they can do it somewhere else or at another time, because when I step into this room, I am off the clock. It is off limits. And you have that right. You know, you also have a right, say you, again, have mediumship abilities, which means you are connecting with those who have crossed over.
Yes.
You have the right to say, I'll listen, I do not want to see you. You can set that boundary. You have the right to say, all right, I'll listen, I'll see you. However, you must present yourself to me in a very nice, neutral manner. If I don't want to see if that end result for you here on earth is an ugly, scary thing, no. You have a right to set that boundary, that they give you information in a way that is not scary or jarring, gruesome, horrific, or anything like that. You have that right. You don't have to turn your abilities off.
Right.
You just set the boundaries with it.
Yes. And I just had actually, it's funny that you bring up that boundary, because it wasn't even a few months ago I had to set my mediumship boundary because it finally got crossed. And I'll just be open and honest with you. I had an experience where I stepped out of my body and a spirit stepped in and used my body to talk to their loved one. Okay, well, deep in the Reiki session, I let it happen. I chose to let it happen. But then I didn't really think much about it, because once it happens for the first time, you're like, oh, okay, that hasn't happened before. Oh, okay, well, the next time I'm doing Reiki, it happens again. And this I struggled with. This was a kiddo that stepped in who had passed from cancer, and hot mess express after that. And I had to go home and detach completely. And I had to call my Reiki 1 mentor the next day and say, this happened. I wasn't ready, how do I do this? And this was back in 2020, but it still wasn't very long ago. It was fresh enough that, wow, scary, not scary, but uncomfortable for me. Uncomfortable. Yeah. And she said, you're not going to make any of your guides mad. Nobody's going to punish you for not wanting to do this. You are safe to tell them you're uncomfortable with this, that this is a boundary that they have crossed. And if they want to convey any messages to their loved ones, you are willing to do that, but you are not willing to allow them to come into your body. You are not willing to allow them to take over your body, and you are not willing to allow them to channel through you. You're willing to allow them to say, hey, this is my message, and you stay in control, but you're not allowing them to become in control. And I said, aha, that's what.
You know what you just bring up, absolutely. And I'm going to give you guys an example of someone who has set a boundary with channeling that you've probably heard of. Esther Hicks. Yes. Esther Hicks, who channels the collective known as Abraham. So she does allow that channeling. Okay. And she sets a boundary. They say, okay, this is the time and day, and I will lay down. I will allow you to come through and channel with me, and someone is going to be there, and they're going to take notes, and then we're going to end it, and then it's done. You don't just get to pop into me while I'm in the kitchen making some scrambled eggs, okay? So for her, yes, let's do this. Here are the boundaries. Here are the rules. Here are the guidelines. And 100%, as beings, it's a right. It's a right that either you don't know you have, or there's some fear that you don't want to hurt someone's feelings and this and that, or piss off the universe and da-da-da. Well, let me first start with number one, they're all love and light, guys. You're not pissing off anyone. If it's a spirit of someone who's crossed and they're not even connected to you or whatever, really, you have a right. Just as if they were like someone down the street, would you just tell anyone in the world they could climb into your bedroom window while you're sleeping? Or someone could just climb in while you're doing something and just make themselves at home. No, you set boundaries. You're allowed to do that in the spiritual world. Now let's bring it back. Also, setting boundaries as a spiritual being. So now we know they're all good. Setting boundaries with others while honoring yourself.
Yes. And Erin and I, before we even got on this conversation, just had a conversation of where the boundaries are in our spiritual life. Where do we set boundaries? Where am I personally not honoring my boundaries? Where am I not honoring my value? And this perspective change, because this is what it is. We speak, we have this higher perspective we can get into, and I've seen it. So that was a great thank you for that, for helping me see that. And it switched everything for me. And I'm sure you felt it. It was like, oh my gosh, okay. And it just was me not honoring a boundary that I made with myself, but I didn't keep it up. I made the boundary, but I didn't keep it up. And now I'm having to go back and reevaluate that boundary and say, this is very important to me. It's time to put this back up and own and choose to mean it.
You know what the thing is, Lace? I know back in the day, I didn't even know I was allowed boundaries.
Yes, we're not.
So sometimes it's not because you're not honoring them. Sometimes you didn't even know you were allowed.
Right.
So here's the thing. This is so common upon when you empaths, healers, readers, psychic mediums, light workers, energy workers. Guys, one of the most common things. We're here to serve. We're here to serve. And we love to serve. Not to be over dramatic or anything, but in honesty, if we boil it down, we live to serve.
Yes.
Therefore, we just want to give to the point, though, that it's detrimental to ourselves. And for instance, someone, there could be someone in our life and they are a hot freaking mess. And, we're giving and we're giving and we're giving and we're doing this and energy work and readings and da, 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 da. And in all honesty, we feel we need to justify we're a good person. We're spiritual. We're this, we're that, da, da, da. Well, here's the thing, guys. It's a story. It's a story we have made up in ourselves. We made up our own definition. We made up the story. We figured out what our character is supposed to be and all of that. In reality, we don't know anybody, and we cannot serve anybody if we don't take care of ourselves. And by setting those boundaries that say, yes, I am an empath, but no, I'm not going to let you bleed all over me. Yes, I am an energy healer. No, I'm not going to let you drain me and not value me. Yes, I'm a spiritual being. That also doesn't mean I'm a doormat.
Yes.
And to set boundaries, okay? And so if you've got someone in your life that is a hot mess and they're draining you, you do not really feel in honesty, am I serving this person? Am I sincerely making a difference? Or am I just breathing life into that hot mess that they've got going and I'm helping them keeping it going? Be honest. Right. Are you really doing it for them or are you doing it for you? And then set that boundary.
Right.
And here's one of the best ways to do that. I believe in giving tips and tools that people can use. Ask yourself, if this was my child, or if this was my best friend, if this was the person I loved the most on this planet, and I saw this happening to them, what advice would I give them?
Right.
You would immediately know to tell them, well, honey, you need to draw the line here. You need to draw the line there. You got your answer.
Right. You're so right. And the boundaries, I know they're hard, right? It's hard to get that, especially when you've not had them. And what did Carol Boston say today? That the only people who will get upset from your boundaries are the ones that were using you to begin with.
Exactly. Carol Boston is the queen of reframe. She is one of the most empowering coaches. And you know what? Coaches have coaches. And
Yes.
if your coach doesn't have a coach, okay, because you know what? We all need that person. We're there for you, and there's someone there for us. And I do want to say again, I do run the Lightworker Development School, where I literally give you the tools, the skills, and the confidence to rock your abilities and to use them to live an abundant and happy life. And if you'd like to have a conversation to know more about that, I will be leaving the link below. So please feel free to reach out with me. And Lacey, tell them about a conversation they can have with you.
Yes, everybody. I am a Reiki master and I teach all things energy. So I have a program where I teach you how to heal your basically your wounds, your inner childhood healing, your blocks, your everything in your reality that isn't serving you. I help you break it down. I help you get down to the nitty gritty of things, and I help you build confidence. I help you build stamina. I help you build a routine. I help you build the
Those are
life.
so important.
They are. And I help you build the life that you just want to live. And that doesn't mean that you have to want a yacht. That can mean you just want peace and you want to feel better. I help with that. I help teach healing. I help empower people to take the choice into their own hands and say, I see it, I understand it, I acknowledge it, and I'm here to work on it. That's what I do.
You know what? One of the things that Lacey and I in our programs have in common is teaching you also more boundaries about your energy work, what it is. You know, you're allowed to set boundaries on not only what you take in, how you take it in, how you process it, how you release it.
Yes.
You get to set that. And we will show you ways of doing that. Not everyone's the same, and we're not all going to have the same boundaries. And we get that.
Yes.
What we are going to do is help you know you can set a boundary, and let's find the one that's right for you.
Yes.
All right.
To do that.
And that includes the energy that you're taking on and how you're taking it on. I believe that being an empath is a freaking fabulous gift, and it is a pet peeve when someone says, oh, I'm an empath, it's so hard, it's this, it's that, and I get the headaches and all of the people and all. Oh, no. That is only because
you're choosing.
No, or because you've never been told it doesn't have to be that way, and because you haven't worked with someone to show you how to change that. Okay, right. So being an empath is freaking fabulous.
It
of
is.
All of my gifts and abilities, and I am blessed to have all of the clairs. I got to tell you, being an empath, I love it. It really gives me the gift of knowing where someone's at so that I know how to best serve them, or to know, am I the right person to serve them without taking it all on and crippling myself? So when we talk about spiritual boundaries, you can set boundaries with your guides, with your angels, with all the things that go bump in the night. You can set boundaries with how you are as a spiritual person, what you allow in, what you put out, not being a doormat, the type of relationships you're having. You are allowed on every level of your life as a spiritual being to set boundaries here on earth and on the other side.
Yes, and I love that, because I think sometimes in our community that not us, but some people preach that, like we were talking about earlier, if you do this, you have to use it as a, you have to give it away. You have to do this. You should just help whoever.
That's their story. That's their story.
Yes.
Number one, that's their story. And as I did explain to you, Lacey, each and every person on this planet can choose
Yes.
to develop their psychic abilities. They can choose to learn about energy and develop that and master it. They can choose to learn about the different healing modalities and all of this other stuff. They can do that, just like anyone can choose to learn to be a pastry chef.
Yes.
Anyone can choose to learn how to build a computer. You can. However, or you can go to someone who has already invested their time, their energy, their resources, years learning that.
Right.
And when you are doing that, are you going to go to a doctor and say, but you know how to heal me? You know how to help me. Why should I have to pay you?
Right.
Well, let's see. First off, and it used to be like in small towns or things like that, you had the town doctor, you had this, and they just did it. And the town supported and took care of that doctor. They made sure he had something to eat. They made sure he had this, he had that. It's not that way anymore. The way of supporting that doctor is through the exchange of energy, of giving them money in exchange for their knowledge, their service, their skills, because that's how the world is now.
Right.
And you being a healer, you being able to give messages, you being able to do things, you have the right to choose when and how you do that. Yes, it's a gift. Knowing how to bake a cake, knowing how to fix a car, knowing how to build a house, knowing how to build a computer, those are gifts. And guess what? People have been taught this is the way it is. Of course, we're going to exchange. We don't want to give up our time, energy, and resources to go and learn how to do this for ourselves. And so we're going to say, yes, thank you for your service. Here is my show of gratitude, my energy gratitude, which is here, in the world, is money. And that goes the same for anybody who is using their gifts to serve others.
I love this conversation. I just love this conversation so much. It's so
because we don't have a little village that's going to come and give us chickens and eggs and this and that.
Right.
This is now, the world has shifted how that energy exchange of gratitude goes. And if I got to put it in the most simplest and bluntest terms, when I got first, I did go for my own Lightworker certification probably like 20 years ago, because I had been doing readings my whole life. I did tea reliefs, I did tarot, and then I just did the plain ask me a question, cock my head, give you an answer. When the time came and someone said, you should do this, you should, go out and do this, I could not accept money for it. I was just like, how do I do this? Anyway, so I did go. I flew off to Texas, and I spent a long week there. And the woman who certified us, she sat there and explained to me what we do. Yeah, yes, we heal people. And yes, we came on a soul level to do that.
Right.
It's still a luxury. It's not one of your basic life needs. Air, water, food, shelter. Those are the basic needs. And anyone else can take the time and their energy and their resources to learn and develop what we do.
Right.
They're just like, they can go food shopping, come home, unpack, prepare everything, cook it, serve it, eat it, and then clean it up, or they can go to a restaurant.
Right. Choices.
So they are choosing. And in that choice, that means that they see the value and they know the value of what we do. And honestly, I believe it is a disservice not only to ourselves, but then we're telling other people we don't value it enough to say that, yes, and I'm going to do this to support myself, to support my family, my children, to pay for my electricity or whatever. Having these gifts and abilities is the same like when you have that person who just, they can write songs, songwriters. It just comes to them sometimes, or they sit there for hours and work on it, and people will hire a songwriter when you can sit there for hours and do it yourself. Healing, readings are healing. Hypnotherapy is healing. Energy work is healing. Any of the things we do is a healing service.
Right.
And we show our value. We show that we value it when we honor it.
I love that. It's so true. And you think about how much time, and when people say that, and when you were talking, it made me think about, I always hear people refer to it like, are you going to go to somebody who just are out of beauty school for a day to get your hair done? Or are you going to pick a veteran that's been through all this schooling and stuff because you know it's going to be safe? You know, they're not going to fry your hair. You know, they're not going to tear you up. Who are you going to pick? What are you going to do? Which choice are you going to make? How do you want to learn? And I feel like sometimes with this energy work, like you're a veteran in this. You have
I got over 50 years of,
right.
You know, like I told you, I don't count like the first 5 or 6 because, you know, I'm a kid, but trust me, I was 3 when I had that first voice come to me. By the time I was 6, I was like fine with it, you know, but I didn't know what I was doing.
You've put your time in.
Oh, I have.
That's
Absolutely.
what I mean. And all the work that I've done over the past 3.5, 4 years, the investments, the monetary investments I've made in myself, for myself, getting coaches. Because like Erin made a comment earlier that was brilliant. Coaches need coaches.
Always.
And they help us with the boundaries. They help us with our choices. They help us see the bigger picture
outside our jar, because we're human. Here's the thing. That's another spiritual boundary I want you all to set right now. Ooh, look at me. I'm getting, sorry guys.
Do it again.
All right. I just felt the soapbox get under my feet. Oh my gosh. Here's the other thing. Spiritual boundary. Okay. We're still human beings. We came here to be experienced, just like everyone else. We are not exempt. No. We are not some lofty thing. We are equal. The mechanic, the doctor, the ice cream maker, we are freaking equal. And we all are going to go through things. And having someone who's been there, like we are for our clients, right, and the people that are going to come to us, because we've been there, because we can help them, and we've learned a way, the same way our coaches do for us. You know, I've got 50 years in this, but you know what, in this area of life or this aspect of life, you're ahead of me. Great. Right. And that we're always learning, we're always developing, we're keeping it real, and we're always working on ourselves, because you have the right as a spiritual being to say, I don't know it all. And guess what? I'm not supposed to know it all. No. And I'm going to have bad days. I'm going to have crab apple days. I'm going to have experiences come up that I go, what the hey is this? Yes. I'm going to go through emotional things where I forget to use the tools in my tool belt. Yes. We are humans. So as a spiritual being, set the boundary between you and that imaginary pedestal, including the imaginary pedestal not only you put yourself on, but that imaginary pedestal that others put you on. You have the right to say, oh, heck no. You are just like, nope. I am not putting myself on that pedestal because it's false. And I'm not allowing anyone else to put me there either, because it limits me as a being.
It does. I love that, because I love what you said about we're all equal. I believe in the law of one. We're all one. We're all, we are. And we're all here to learn from each other and grow together. And one of my favorite things my grandpa told me is that you should be learning every single day. And if you're not learning that day, he's so blunt about it. It's your day to die. Like, you need to be waking up every day and learning about and from other people. and you need to be open-minded about what they say. That doesn't mean it has to resonate with you, but learn everything you can while you can. Take it in.
You know, I've been a Reiki master for over 15 years, Shambhala master, Seishin master, been working with energy, this, that, da, 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 da. Now, Lacey, I know you're not probably at 15, 20 years yourself, because look at you, you're a beautiful young babe. That being said, your experiences, have we had some that are the same? Yes. What did that do? That helped us validate. We figured even more out, blah, blah, blah. We also have things that are very different. We bring so much to the table. There is no competition. We are either supporting each other or growing from each other.
Yes. And learning.
And as a spiritual being, allow yourself that. Don't limit yourself, and don't let anyone else put what they call a boundary, which is really chaining you and limiting you from being you.
I love that. And I'm going to leave this with one more thing Carol Boston told me yesterday, because you know, I don't even have to tell you. She told me, because I have a people pleasing problem, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but she said,
that is every single empath, energy worker, light worker, reader, we're all here. We just want to help people, which means please people. So yes. It's very common.
And she said, Lacey, you're not, it's not up to you if they perceive the way you come off. However, if you say no, or you set a boundary, that's not your choice how they perceive it.
You're only responsible for what your intent, not how they received
your choice was to say that out of a heart space. And if their choice is to perceive that out of a different space, that's not up to you. There's two kinds of business, your business and not your business, and stay in your lane. And I said, hallelujah, Carol Boston, amen. Thank you. I needed to hear that though.
Yep. Put a boundary between you and false self-judgment. Yeah. Absolutely. And listen, in all sincere honesty, if you have any questions, if there's a specific instance in your life that you'd like a little guidance on this, leave it in the comments below. And Lacey and I, one of us will definitely, or both of us will respond to you. Because when you put it out there, not only do you learn, but anyone else who is going to be paying attention is going to learn as well. And remember, please subscribe to our groups. Come, say hi. We love to hear from you. And are you ready? Are you looking to learn? Are you looking to grow, to develop in energy in your psychic development? Or you may want to start a spiritual business or up level your current one. You're looking for that seasoned, experienced guidance. Reach out to one of us. We'd love to have a conversation with you and find out exactly what is it that you're looking for. Are we the right person for you? Is one of our programs a good fit for you? Or if maybe there's someone else that we can tell you about that is going to be better to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Again, we will leave all of the links to get in touch with us below. All right. Well,
good. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and being here.
So welcome. Yes. Thank you. Thank you much for tuning in, because you just gave us your number one resource, which is your time. And our appreciation for that is sincere, very sincere. So until next week, love, light, and blessings to everyone. Be well, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.